Hey, it's Allie, and I'm talking to you about our final research paper for the History of Television class, and I'm going to be focusing here on Part 3, the draft. So, Part 3, the draft, is not due until week 10. At this point, you already did your proposal that was due week 4, and then the sources were due week 6. So, everybody should have already found 4 academic sources. If you didn't find 4 successfully, there's been time now for me to help, and there's been some turnaround, and you've had a chance to resubmit that assignment. And so everybody should be caught up at this point with your sources and your subtopics. There shouldn't be a whole lot of shifting around now here in the last couple of weeks. We have the draft due here at the end of week 10, and then the final paper itself is due at the end of week 14. So you want to stay keeping on track and not making a lot of changes at this juncture. So this is a pretty short draft. I'm not looking for a complete 7 to 10 page paper here. This is usually around 3 pages. It's got to be a minimum of like 2.5 to fulfill the requirements. And basically, I want you to fully follow one of the subtopics. In addition to that, you need to utilize one of the academic sources and to cite it in proper MLA style for the in-text citation. So what I mean by that is to either quote one of your academic sources or paraphrase it, and then to cite the source that your information is coming from in proper MLA style, and that'll generally be in parentheses, and the MLA guide will help tell you how to do it specifically. But for MLA, it's generally the last name, and then there's no other punctuation, and then the page number within parentheses, and then it's followed by a period. And it's kind of like the information that you're telling us is the first part of the thought, and then the who it was told is the second part of it, and then the period for the punctuation. So again, the MLA style, and again, that's posted on our course Canvas page. The Purdue OWL MLA site is super great, and so that'll have all the information that you need, and that'll help you get that correct. Additionally, I want you to talk about how you're going to connect this to class materials. So that's a major portion of how the final paper is graded, is how the information that you're discussing connects to things we've studied this semester. So I want you to go a little bit out of your way. And the way to do this is either to cover your bases just by doing this in the introduction or the conclusion, and to do that in both places actually, and then somewhere in the body of the paper. I'm going to be looking for at least 3 to 4 times where you specifically connect things to class materials. If some people can do this in the introduction by talking about it a little bit here, and then in the conclusion, other people do that throughout their paper itself. So that'll be more for the final itself, but for this draft, I need you to start doing that already. So either within that, you breaking down that first subtopic and you're talking about it and citing your source where you're also connecting it to class materials, or just as an aside at the end of your 2 pages, tell me how you plan to start connecting this to class materials. And I can also help you as I grade the drafts, kind of guide you in places where these connections might be able to be made. But give it a try here on the draft so that you can get those 5 points. And again, this is not a very long draft, but it's a minimum of 2 or 2.5 pages. Most of the assignments that have all the requirements are 3 pages or so. Thank you.